Hey guys, welcome back to Ace Recaps. Today I am going to be explaining a 2018 Hindi fantasy horror film named Tumbad. The movie starts off with a story. The goddess of prosperity, the symbol of food and limitless gold rumors the earth. It is said that when the universe was created, she gave birth to 10 million gods, but she only loved one of them who was born a star. But now you will not find his name anywhere. That is because he was greedy for all the gold and grain and the other gods attacked him for it. But before he could turn into dust, the goddess of prosperity saved him, but on one condition, that he'll never be worshipped and he slept in his mother's womb for eternity. But a man woke him up and built a shrine under his name, and since then the village was cursed and it never stopped raining. We are then taken back to 1918 to the Tumbad village in western India. Amidst a heavy rain we watch as a woman runs for shelter. She is then seen giving Sarkar, a local lord, sexual services as he promised her a gold coin. He tells her that earning it isn't going to be easy and that she needs to work hard for it. The camera then zooms into a creepy-looking statue holding the gold coin. In the next scene we watch as two brothers wait for their mom outside their house amidst heavy rain. The brothers are then seen cooking some food and taking it to feed the Sarkar's grandmother. They both seem very frightened of her, so the older brother Vinayak sends in his younger brother to do the task. Just as he's about to enter the room, their mother shows up, takes the food and beats Vinayak on the head. She is then seen adding more food to the plate and takes it in to feed the old woman. It is then shown that the mother tries to cut the old woman's nails with large pliers as the woman has turned into some sort of monster. The old lady is even seen chained to the wall. Vinayak is then seen shaving his mom's head and inquiring about the gold coin. Suddenly they hear some whimpering from the room. So the frightened mother goes to inquire with an axe and a lamp. The old lady is heard crying, saying that she doesn't want the treasure. So the mother tells her through a small hole to go to sleep or Hastar will come for you. Suddenly the old lady falls asleep. A few days later the Sarkar passes away. As they cremate him we watch as the mother takes her kids and runs home to cook food. The mother tells Vinayak that they are going to be leaving the Tumbad village the next day as there's nothing left there for them. Vinayak questions his mother saying that they now inherit the mansion and all its gold, so the mother replies saying that the mansion is not worth a penny and the Sarkar searched all his life for the gold but found nothing. So Vinayak suggests waking up the old lady and asking her the location of the gold, to which the mother gets annoyed and pushes him away and tells him to do as he pleases. That evening as the brothers are seen talking to each other, the younger brother slips down a wall and hits his head on a rock. The mother is then seen rushing her son in hopes to get help, and tells Vinayak that he'll have to feed the old lady that night, and if she wakes up, he needs to repeat the phrase, "Go to sleep or Hastar will come for you." As the mother takes her son to get help, the Bullocky asks her if she still wants to go to the doctor or should he take her to the graveyard, which means that the boy passed away. The mother replies saying take her back home. Back at home we watch as Vinayak tries to prepare food for the old lady and drops all the rice to the floor. Suddenly the old lady wakes up and Vinayak approaches her trying to inquire about the lost treasure in the mansion. The old lady, who is now clearly shown as a monster, tells him that she will tell him everything if he feeds her. So Vinayak rushes to the kitchen to prepare the food. As he haggles around trying to cook her some food, the old lady escapes from her room and chains Vinayak to herself. Vinayak tries to tell her the phrase but he's forgotten it. The old lady laughs and drags him to her room to eat him as she craves human flesh. Just as she's about to kill him he recites the phrase and the old lady falls asleep. When the mother returns home she is seen crying for the loss of her child and helps clean up Vinayak. The next morning they are both seen leaving the village by boat. Vinayak tries to pressurize his mother to go back to the village and take all the gold. The mother gets mad at him, gives him the gold coin that she stole from the mansion and calls him greedy like his father, and says that she wishes he died instead of his brother, and makes Vinayak promise that he'll never step foot in Tumbad again. The next scene takes us 15 years into the future where we watch Vinayak, who is all grown up now, steps down from a bus and comes back to Tumbad. He is then seen entering the old woman's room. It is now fully covered with vines and roots, so after a bit of struggle, he finds her chain and shakes it to wake her up. We then see that a whole tree has grown out of her. She is almost withered to dust, but she's still alive. Vinayak asks her about the treasure and she tells him that it's in the well in the mansion. She warns him not to go down there as the last time she did, she turned into a monster. She tells him to turn back because no treasure is worth the pain. She then asks Vinayak to end her pain by burning her. A greedy Vinayak is then seen opening the doors to the mansion. After months of digging and searching, he finally finds the well that was closed off by his ancestors. He is then seen fulfilling the old lady's wishes and finally ends her suffering by dousing her with gasoline and lighting her on fire. We are then taken to the city of Pune where we watch as Vinayak enters his house looking like a homeless person. He then gets mad at the fact that his wife Vaidehi started her own business when he was not around. She claims that he had left her and she had to find a way to make a living. They then proceed to make love and Vinayak promises his wife that she won't have to work another day in her life as he's found the gold. A well-groomed Vinayak then approaches a local businessman Raghav, who agrees to buy the gold for 62 rupees. Raghav says that he's collecting as much money as possible to get an opium permit, so he agrees to buy all the gold Vinayak can offer. As months go by, we watch as Vinayak frequently visits Tumbad and climbs down the well, and makes various deals with Raghav for all the gold that he retrieves. When inquired by Raghav on where he's getting all the gold from, Vinayak says that it was passed down by his ancestors. Since at that time India was ruled by the British, an English officer approaches Raghav and tells him that he needs to arrange the money quickly if he needs his opium license. A desperate Raghav then goes to Vinayak's house and asks him to make him his business partner, but Vinayak respectfully declines. A few months pass by and we now see that Vinayak is blessed with a son. Vinayak also roams around in his new bike, which only the rich could afford at that time. The English officer again approaches Raghav and tells him that this is his last chance to get rich before he gets transferred outside the country. Raghav is then seen getting Vinayak a pretty slave. Vaidehi, who's taking care of their baby, seems to be upset about this. That night Vinayak and the slave are seen having coitus without the knowledge of Vaidehi. The slave tells Vinayak about Raghav's plan about going to Tumbad and searching for the gold himself. This angers Vinayak. The next day Vinayak hides and watches as Raghav explores the mansion in Tumbad. He then purposefully climbs down the well while Raghav is in sight, without telling him the secrets of the well. A few hours later we watch as Vinayak climbs out of the well and shows off the gold, all the while acting like he doesn't know that Raghav is watching him. Once Vinayak leaves, Raghav decides to climb down the well himself and look for the gold. When he reaches the bottom, he notices that the walls of the pit move like human flesh. This is the stomach of the goddess of prosperity where she's kept her evil son. Raghav then finds a metal box and on opening it sees that it's wheat dough in the shape of a man. He is then suddenly attacked by the monster. This was the trap set by Vinayak because Raghav got too greedy. Sometime later Vinayak climbs down the well, and we see that Raghav is now infected and turned into a monster himself. Vinayak then makes a circle around him with wheat, and opens his box again to pick up his man-shaped dough. He is suddenly approached by the god Hastar, who wants to feed on the dough. Hastar tries to enter the circle but is burnt. Vinayak teases the god for some time and suddenly throws the dough away. Hastar runs towards it and starts feeding on it. Vinayak then rushes to the god's pouch and grabs as many gold coins as he can. He then throws his lamp on Raghav and sets him on fire and escapes the well as fast as humanly possible. So this is how it's finally revealed where Vinayak gets all his gold from. Back at home Vaidehi is seen crying and beating the slave. She blames her for stealing her necklace and kicks her out of the house. As years pass by, we watch as Vinayak keeps going down the well and becomes more and more wealthy. His son Pandurang is all grown up now, and is seen practicing collecting coins behind a line of wheat, a game taught by his father, so he can one day take over the family business. Vinayak still cheats on his wife with the slave who is now his mistress, and Vaidehi doesn't seem to care. At the dinner table we see that Vinayak is now blessed with 2 more daughters. They pray together and Pandurang asks him about the gold coins. Vinayak then decides that his son is ready to see where the gold really comes from. So the next day Vinayak and Pandurang pack up and go to Tumbad village. At the mansion Vinayak teaches Pandurang to prepare the man-shaped dough. Before climbing down the well, Vinayak instructs his son that this is just practice for the future and that they're supposed to leave the dough behind. When they get to the bottom Pandurang starts preparing the circle around them. Before the circle is completed, he reveals to his father that he brought one doll with him. He is suddenly attacked by Hastar. Vinayak panics and grabs his son and starts climbing out the well. While Hastar feeds on the dough, Pandurang sees an opportunity and goes for the god's pouch and grabs as much gold as he could before climbing out the well. At the top, a proud Pandurang shows his father the gold he collected. Vinayak, who's now outraged, starts beating the shit out of his boy. They then look for the fallen gold and drive back home the next morning, and we see that Vinayak let his son keep one gold coin for all his hard work. A few days later, while Vinayak has a few drinks with other businessmen, they tell him that since the Indian government has regained power, they plan on locking up the mansion. This leaves Vinayak worried as his only source of income is going to be beyond reach forever. A drunk Vinayak shows his son all the gold that he's collected over the past few years and tells him about the government's plans and passes out. Pandurang, who's still just a teenager, is seen offering his gold coin to his father's mistress in exchange for sexual favors. But she just smiles at him and takes the gold coin. Later that day, she tells Vinayak about Pandurang's plans. This enrages Vinayak and he beats the living shit out of his son. Pandurang then asks his father's forgiveness and Vinayak tells him to keep it in his pants for a few years and that they'd get him married. The spoiled teen then asks his father what he's supposed to do until then. So Vinayak bursts out in laughter looking at his horny son. The next day Vinayak takes his son to a brothel and they both seem to have a lot of fun as the ladies take care of them. Pandurang then tells his father an idea where they would make multiple dolls instead of just one. And as Hastar eats all the dolls, they'd have enough time to collect as many coins as possible. Vinayak thinks this is a great idea and they both decide to give it a shot before the government locks down the mansion for good. The next day they head to Tumbad, and as they reach the well they start all their preparations. As they get to the bottom, Hastar arrives. Pandurang starts taking out all the dough dolls that they prepared. But to their surprise there's more than just one Hastar. Each Hastar comes for each doll. Vinayak gets frightened for the life of his son and orders him to put all the dolls back into the box. But it's too late. They surround them and fight each other for the single doll. A few hours pass by and Pandurang falls asleep as they are protected by the wheat circle. When he wakes up it is shown that Vinayak has tied all the dolls around his body. Pandurang begs him to reconsider, but this is the only way Vinayak can save his dear son's life. Vinayak climbs up the rope and drops all the Hastars on the wheat circle, killing them. As Pandurang climbs out the well, he sees his father who is now infected with the terrible disease. Vinayak offers him the gold that he stole from the Hastar. But Pandurang denies it and breaks down crying before he lights his father on fire. At the end of the movie we watch Pandurang exits the mansion for good. The world has enough for everyone's need, but not enough for everyone's greed, is a great lesson that the movie tries to teach us. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like the video please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.